So, hello guys, and welcome to the video. Today I'm here to present you a 1 high by, well, 12 pusher. I'm not sure if I should even put that 12 even in there. I said even twice, that's great. Uh, if I even should put that 12 in there, considering, well, that's what a pusher usually is. But for now I'm gonna keep on saying that. Anyway, hello guys, and welcome to the video. Before I get to the pusher, I would quickly like to mention the reason this video was so late, and well, I'll probably put an annotation around here in case you just want to get to the video and don't care about that. But for those who do, which I imagine could be some people, I'd like to, well, talk a bit about the, well, first of all, IRL, I was a bit busy because, well, exams, to put it simply, but I did actually manage to make videos for the other, before the other exams, but just for the physics exam, which was yesterday. Now I'm recording this, so 2 days ago when I upload this. I really wasn't feeling ready, and I decided to not make a video on Sunday, and afterwards I also didn't decide to get to it until after the exam. And I'm kind of happy I did that because the exam actually went alright, but I felt like I was really lucky with the questions and stuff. So I'm happy I prepared for that instead of making a video. But now that's all over. It's holidays for me, and I'll probably make a vlog later this week because of Minecon and discussing some of the plans for the channel this summer and like project I have in mind and may or may not get to. But we'll discuss that then. So that's the IRL side of stuff. As for the Minecraft side of stuff, I also postponed this video a couple of days after the exam, I guess, because, well, I was not entirely happy about the result I had at the moment, which would be this. I I built this one at the beginning of last week, so at the beginning of the week I was supposed to make a video. Um, but since then I've also been working on other stuff, like this one, which was suggested by Enemy's Friend 22. It does a bit of different stuff, but I'll get to that into that when I talk about this one. So basically, this is like horizontal pushers is technical, like basically bidirectional horizontal pushers is a bit of a technology I am still looking into because there's some potential there. When I say some, I mean a lot in survtech. So, but however, it seems to in this current shape, I built it right here. The scene doesn't seem to be too useful. So that's why I was looking a bit more into other stuff with other flying machines with other properties which allow for actual use applications. And that's why I wasn't too happy to make a video about just this. I planned to make it about different designs, but a couple of hours ago I started building that one and it didn't work. I suppose because of direction dependency. So I just said, screw it. I'm going to make a video about just this machine, and well, the reason the video was so late. Um, so yeah, that explains kind of why the video had been postponed that long, even though I was done with school and stuff. But here it is. I decided this video is worth a shot on its own because very often I own like the vertical pusher I made doesn't have many applications either, but I just think my channel is also for a decent part about showing progress, like with the ifs one. I think it's nice to show a bit of progress, and also at the end of this video I will probably do some, you could almost say crowdsourcing, and quickly mention the concepts for flying machines which have applications in survival right now as it is, and it would be interesting to build and would definitely. And so if you're a bit into Slimestone or you just want to get into it, that would definitely be a nice challenge because I've been struggling with some of these for a week or less than a week base, I suppose. Well, with that out of the way, while I deformants in, let's get into Slimestone, shall we? So what this is right here is a bidirectional. I actually forgot to mention at the beginning. A bidirectional 1 by 12 pusher, I would say, horizontal pusher. And something another property I assigned to it is that it has top, side, bottom axis. Now, you're probably wondering what that means. Well, actually, I know that I'm probably just going to call top, bottom axis to save one letter. I think a lot about names and redundancy and stuff, so top, side, bottom would also matter more word, but it's just, it has redundancy, and I like to cut letters off my names. So yeah, anyway, basically what that means is that this machine pushes a surface, but it needs to have access to air. So basically, it accesses the pistons and the powering blocks up there from both the top and the bottom. And that's an issue in a lot of scenarios, which I will get into probably in a second, because that's actually makes it impractical for most of survival. But you know what? Let's get into this. I've wasted too much time. Actually, I'm not going to use this one, but let me use this one. That one's my copy I normally use. So let me just get over here. Yep, should be good. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Should be good normally. So we're going to fill a 12 by 12 square here with iron blocks. That's not going to work, it seems. Iron block, yes. And over here we're just going to fill this with air for a second. Yeah, I'm just terribly prepared for this video, as you can notice. It's actually 6 AM right now, but my schedule is kind of messed up, and I just thought I should really get to this video. So I just did, right here on the spot. Anyway, we got that now, and it's a 12 by 12 surface. We have 4 modules, each is 3 wide, so that gives us a 12 wide area to cover. The jaggedy or jaggediness or whatever you want to call of this machine is 2, meaning that every second component is to move 2 horizontally to the back or to the front compared to the other. And yes, I did think about sound this time. So then you end up with this jaggedy thing, which I also think is one of the negative properties of this flying machine. But I will get into that in a second. Now, as you can see, this thing is pushing fine. At some point it stops because, well, I pushed a position block here. But the main property which makes this useful is it goes back. And I completely forgot this until now, but I should definitely mention that this concept was suggested by UltimateRedstone, and that I may very well not have made this if it wasn't for him suggesting it on my last video. So I'm sorry I didn't mention that earlier, but I just completely forgot, so I hope you don't mind. But yeah, so definitely his channel will be down in the description. I'll also link to Enemy's Friend probably, because I already talked about him as well. And yeah, I think those will be my links for this video. So yeah, so anyway, you can see this works, so you can push something in and then get your flying machine out again. You're probably asking, well, about, okay, but what are the applications you're talking about? Because to me, I still see an annoying surface which I can't really work with. Well, I think I will get to the first application first, and that will also lead us to another link, which is Panda's dungeon generation technology. I'm not getting into the details, but basically dungeons are generated after generation, but during population. What that means is that, roughly spoken, with a bit of messing around, you can actually place blocks in chunks which are unpopulated, so basically chunks which have yet to generate dungeons, and then when the dungeon generation code is run, because of the blocks you place, you can basically affect the algorithm to a very great extent to make it spawn dungeons in places where it would never normally spawn them. But so, an important thing which is involved there is pushing in surfaces which are going to form your dungeon later on. So that would be like this. The biggest dungeon is 9 by 9, the smallest one is 8 by 8. So this is, for example, here is 9 wide, and it would also have to be 9 long. Should be something like this, I think. So yeah, you would probably fill this like with fence gates or something in the center to keep it, normal. But as you can probably guess, one of the issues if you were to use this flying machine for this would be that you would end up with this jaggediness, like this teeth, as I called them in this one. These teeth, that is. And over here, those are too deep. Over here, so basically the first challenge for an actual application I wanted to do was to create a machine which actually does not have any jaggediness, and is therefore probably also not expandable. Basically, I wanted to build a non-expandable dungeon pusher, which can basically push in 9 wide or 7 wide dungeons. Then you could have 2 flying machines for 2 jobs, in my opinion, as long as it's possible. And of course, the jaggediness can be resolved very easily simply by doing this and filling this, like, basically, if you do it like this, then this area will all stay in the same spot, and then you could fill this up with, like, I don't know, a block you don't need, like slam blocks or something. But that's not something you would normally want, because it means that you have a lot of space wasted, and if you want to get into some really advanced dungeon generation technology, which I am personally interested in, it has fascinated me for a while, you cannot really afford losing that space in map, I would think. I think those 2 blocks are quite significant, and you kind of really have to limit the blocks you place to just the dungeon yourself, get your flying machine out, so you can cram in more dungeons in the same area. But I don't want to go full dungeon tech. After all, this is just pure Samsung video, or almost pure. So that's one application. So that leads me to the first challenge. So basically, for any viewers who are interested, build a flying machine. It doesn't have to be expandable. It doesn't really have to do anything. But it has to basically be able to push in a dungeon, which is 7 wide or 9 wide. And actually, this leads to a second property, which I did not discuss yet, but is also important for dungeon pushing, which is the access points. Previously, I mentioned that this thing has top-bottom access, and now you will probably see why that is relevant, because if you want to push in 2 layers, there's a bit of an issue. Because say we have pushed in second layer, so let's go over here or something. We have pushed in 1 layer. Say we want to push in the layer above, right? We don't have these blocks, and these blocks are like fence gate or something, and here we have the actual dungeon. If you want to push in the next layer of the dungeon, which would, like, if this is the floor and we want to push in the walls of the dungeon, that's kind of problematic, because we have this layer right here, which will probably run into trouble with these slam blocks and stuff. So, actually, because of the way this design works, this won't have trouble with these, but we'll have trouble with these. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about here, which you would have to avoid in the case of dungeon generation. What's also probably useful, but not strictly necessary, is to go for full top access. Not side, just top. I think side would also work, but it kind of depends on like how the exact configuration of dungeons you want to push in. To be honest, I would hardly be satisfied with someone building a side and top access, which is what I would try to build here, but as you can probably tell, failed quite heavily, and I haven't gotten back to the project since, and I think 6H or something. So that's one application. Just get it to work, really. It doesn't have to be expandable, it can be as chaotic as you want to. I would prefer, of course, a solution which I think anyone would prefer a solution which is as compact as possible, because you have to really bear in mind that you probably have to build tons and tons of these in survival, because for every layer of every dungeon you would have to build one of these. And you could try to move them with a distance up or down for a bit, but it would still take some time. So having the most basic solution is definitely important in this case, although it is not as crucial as getting the main properties down. So that's the first challenge, and I should really move on before this video gets too long. Second challenge was suggested by Enemy's Friends 22. Now, he's a member of a service called Conspiracy SMP, along with a bunch of other friends of mine, who you probably don't know about, but they do some technical survival stuff. And one of the things they have is a guardian farm, like the efficient one. We're talking here about just a full guardian perimeter. They actually worked on that pretty hard with the huge motors and stuff. And so yeah, they have full perimeter and stuff. They have a 58 by 58 guardian farm by 58 because of pack spawning and stuff. They know more about it than me, actually. But the problem is that what they wanted is that basically, let's say we have our guardian farm, right? Guardian spawn in this cobblestone block. They fall all the way down and they die here on the floor. And normally you have minecarts which pick stuff up, hopper minecarts more specifically. And the guardians actually land not on the rails themselves, because that way they could technically mess up minecarts right dig before they die. They land on glass, and the hoppers will pick up stuff on the glass like this, as you can tell. Problem is though that is meant just for killing them off, basically. However, Guardians have some rare drops like clownfish and stuff, and they want to loot those because, well, they're technical people. They want to set a challenge for themselves, and basically what they want is to be able to switch the farm in between just kill mode and XP or airdrop mode or whatever you want to call it. You could think, oh, you just flow some water over here, but it turns out it's actually a lot harder than that. So as a result, they have had to resort to some other solutions, and I can't say there's no better solution than this, but they seem to have thought this out pretty well, and their main solution, which is why they called me in, was to basically push in some kind of slope, you could say. Like, if this is, like, we're talking about the scale model here, right? So, if this is like your 58 by 58 area, around, I don't know, like this or something, then you would try to have a flying machine push in a slope like this. And also, it had to be able to get it out, of course. That's very important as well. And that way, you can just flow water from one point, and it will flow all the way to the other end. And once you turn the farm on again, guardians will spawn and fall into the water and get flushed away. So that's the second challenge, which I also didn't feel I can succeed at. Mainly because in this case, if you have the idea of just pushing it in like I did, you will need top access alone, basically, because there will be surfaces below here and stuff, you don't want to touch them. So you just need top access, or you go for the opposite challenge, which would be bottom access, because of quasi-connectivity. My personal experience is that top access makes it a lot easier. I don't think bottom access works. So I built something, and it doesn't work actually on here. It worked on his server. I built one segment on there, which wasn't fully, I should say, modular. It wasn't gonna fully work if I stacked it. However, it just requires some small changes. The actual segment itself did work and do the trick. However, the challenge is still open. Why? Because this thing is actually really big, and if you like, I'm not gonna go through the full reasoning in this video because it's already getting pretty long. But in the end, if you want to push a layer in right below here, which is just 7 blocks long, not 12, remember, just 7 to get the water flowing, then you actually will not have enough space with your flying machines and stuff. It basically will not work out. If you try to put everything in one flying machine, these two will be too close to each other, basically. If you try to put it into different flying machines, you will not be able to get the lower one in here without intersecting with the top one, unless you manage to build some kind of, I don't know, quadridirectional flying machine or some madness like that. So, yeah, really, it just isn't really worth it, in my opinion. So, yeah, the challenge is still open. So, basically, try to build a machine which can push in a 58 by 58 slope, or some way to flush those guardians away. Although slime seems to be the main solution right now. And that's definitely an interesting problem, in my opinion, which is quite an important application, in my opinion, in survival Minecraft. Technical survival Minecraft, that is. So if you can do something for that would also be awesome, and you should probably contact the conspiracy members over that, or just post something here and I will contact them. Anyway, so yeah, those are challenges if people are interested. If not, well, at least maybe it kind of just fascinated you, as in the idea behind them, even if you don't want to build them yourself. Because yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this video. So importantly, you are also known as UltimateRedstone. Suggested this, which led me to build that, fail at it, so you can try that. And a couple days later, I got a suggestion by Enemy's friends, 22, to build this. I also kind of failed it, although I got a bit more progress than on the dungeon pusher. And that's also something you can do. So, without out of the way, by the way, I did not really break my video streak. My rule is kind of that I just have to make one video a week. It doesn't have to be strictly in the week, just if I roughly do it around that time and then get back into schedule, it's alright. So yeah, the video will be uploaded on Thursday, but I'm pretty sure I will get another video up in this weekend, like a technical video, as well as probably around Friday or Saturday-ish, may make a vlog because of Minecraft and stuff, but I already talked about that. So yeah, lots of stuff coming up. Summertime, as I said, but we will talk about that in another video. So uh, I hope you liked this video, people. If you didn't, please leave a rating and like to know what you guys think. And I hope I will see you in another video.